So, as Ian mentioned, my name's Oliver. What I wanted to do today was just to basically go through a couple of key things in terms of my experience and especially related to the iPhone 3.0, the new operating system. So I wanted to touch on today basically three things about 3.0, and those will be why I think the iPhone is different in terms of other mobile phones that have gone before. Also, three apps that I use regularly that I think are quite good that you might not have seen before. And also, just quickly, three things about iPhone 3.0 that I thought you might find useful, little hints and tips and reasons why some of the things in iPhone 3.0 are great. So let's kick off. First of all, why is the iPhone different? There's been a lot of discussion about the iPhone just being another mobile phone. But there's a couple of key things about the iPhone that make it easier for people to use, easier for the general consumer to use. And a couple of those are having all your content with you all the time. So all your music, your movies, your photos that you might have taken, either with the camera itself on the iPhone or through your normal iPhoto library and so on and so on. With the iPhone, the big thing is the applications. So what applications you can download, the ability to buy them and so on. And that's really changed with the iPhone because before it was very hard to buy applications or even to find them to start with. So we've got big developments there. Of course, the iPhone works with both Macs and PCs through iTunes, and that really keeps all your content in one place and all together. And that last little item there, Find My iPhone. I don't know whether some of you have heard about this, but basically what the iPhone can do now is locate itself. So you can log into a website and it will actually find your iPhone for you on a map. If you have this function turned on, and you can even send a message to your iPhone. So if you've left it in a restaurant overnight or in the back of a taxi, then you can send a little message. The phone will beep and continue to beep until somebody actually alerts it. And you can also wipe your phone so you can get all the important information off it. The other great thing about the iPhone is the mobile internet experience. So the content that you can access, whether that be things like web pages that a lot of people are browsing, full web pages and zooming in on certain bits of information and zooming back out. The other thing that's really different about the web on the iPhone is that it's got the normal browser buttons, so people can bookmark information quite easily. They can go through their bookmarks. There's a clear back button. And these are things that we take for granted when we're using a website on a normal PC, but they really haven't been on a mobile phone before. So it makes it much easier for the general person who's used a PC before to use the internet and the browser on a mobile phone. And synchronized bookmarks is great as well. So you might have all your bookmarks on your PC, and when you go to the mobile phone, you don't have to retype them all in. They're already there, okay? So you can find them. And thirdly, you know, this is access to your things. These are the things that I own, that I've got through CDs that I've bought. I might have downloaded them via iTunes, whatever it might be. And I can really arrange things on the iPhone the way that I want to see them. So that first home screen that you have the ability to customize things on is brilliant, and a real change for mobile again, because you can put the icons that you want to the services that you want wherever you want on the phone, okay? Whether it's down in the bottom in the dock there, or whether it's up on the main screen and you can slide through them quite quickly. It's really not just a mobile phone, and we have to think beyond just something that can make phone calls. This is a device that can do a lot of things and have all our content with it, and I think that's key. So next up, I'd like to talk about three applications that I think are great, that I use on a daily basis or quite regularly. The first one is TV. So everyone loves a bit of TV, and more often than not, I head out of the house and might go out for a drink or might head down for some dinner or whatever it might be. And usually I'll forget to set to record whatever it is that's on that night. So I've got this little application called Ice TV, and there's also one on my computer at home that plugs in, that hooks into the TV channels. And so what I can do when I'm out and about is obviously see the TV guide, so I can see what I'm missing. I can go through the different channels, see what's on at different times, different days. I can search for a TV show. So that's really handy when we go out for dinner with my girlfriend and we've forgotten to record something and she's desperate to see it when we get home, so we just hit that button and it updates and brings it through, so it's there when we get home. The other one that I use quite a bit, and this is more work related, is a thing called Instapaper. And you can use this both the web and also on the iPhone. So you might be going around the internet and you're using your web browser, and you might come across an article that you think's great, but you don't have the time at that point to go down, sit down and read it in detail, and so on and so on. So you think, okay, well, I'll save that for later. But what I can also do is download the Instapaper app on my iPhone, so that when I go to my iPhone, when I jump in the taxi to go to a meeting, or I'm off on a trip on the plane or whatever it might be, I can actually pull up that list of articles that I didn't get a chance to read and go back and revisit them and say, okay, well, now I'm going to take the time and go through and find out what that article is about. So in this case, you can actually browse the articles offline. Okay, the third application that I wanted to tell you about today is one that's been around for a while on the iPhone, but it's amazing how few people know how to use all the functionality of it. So I thought I'd quickly just check in and show you a bit more about Google Maps and what you can do with it. So obviously you can find yourself on Google Maps. It's close to where we are today. And you might put in a venue that you might have heard about or you might have been to before. And you type that into your search field and it will go and find it for you on the map and show you where it is. And you can click on that item as well, of course, and find out the details around it. And down at the bottom there, you've got a couple of things. One of them is add to contacts, which has been for a while and very handy. So what you can do is basically save it to your address book. So if you want to find it later on, so if you're planning for the week ahead, you might find this detail, but you want to go back later on in the week and get the details, then they're there and saved to your address book on the iPhone, which is really handy. Or what you could also do is actually email or MMS this information to a friend of yours. If you're going out for dinner with them, you might want to MMS these details to them so they can find out, again, the address of the place or see the menu via the website, whatever it might be. Okay, and the third part for today is just 3 quick tips for those of you who do have iPhone with the new operating system. It's a free download, so make sure that you do get it if you've got the current iPhone. And one of those, well, the first thing is the landscape mode for typing. And it's really strange that Apple didn't do this first when they first released it, but hey, it's better that they've finally caught up than not. So you can now switch the keyboard around, and this makes typing on the iPhone much easier as well, whether it be for things like SMSs, notes, emails, all of those things. It's much easier to type in that mode. So you can just simply turn your phone around and it will change the orientation and you can type faster using that landscape mode. The second thing that I thought I'd cover off is universal search. This is a very, very handy feature, especially for those of you who have more and more iPhone applications added to your deck. Instead of needing to swipe across them all or go into your email to find an email within there or try and find a contact just maybe to call, you can either press from your home screen the main button or you can swipe to the right and the left, sorry, and it will come up with the universal search screen, okay? And you can just simply start typing. So I might be after the weather app today, so I type WEAT and it brings up Pocket Weather, it might bring up the Apple iPhone weather app, but it also brings up songs that might be in my iPod, so Weather With You from the Crowded House and things like that. It's a very simple way to get to content. One of the not so secret but certainly hidden features is what you can do with the applications now is you can actually download more applications than will show on your iPhone screen. There's a limit. You can only have 11 screens to slide. But you can actually have them available through the search. So although you can't see them, you can still look them up in a universal search and click on them and go through to them from there. So they're still there and they still work. And just the third final thing that I thought I'd talk about is push notifications. This is something that's, again, very specific to the iPhone 3.0. And last week when I was in San Francisco for the Apple conference, they gave us access to the AOL Instant Messenger client, which has got push notifications. And it's amazing how different things are when you can be notified that things are happening. You're getting an instant message, somebody's tweeted you, whether it's a direct mention or a direct message or whatever it might have been. And so I think this is going to change a lot of things in terms of alerting people to information that's important to them. You're in full control of what you get notified about. It's a very handy function that's coming up. So that is my quick 10 minutes. Thanks for that.